the environment, what are you going to be instead?
Well, yeah, you probably should wear something. And that's not to say you're naked in there either. But, I mean, you should wear something, or your shoes. See, if you go into a highly infested place, you may feel like there's nothing on you, but they can easily crawl up on your shoes. And the first instar nymph, being a millimeter, can just stay on a seam of or an eyelet, or underneath the tie, on a shoestring. They can be in the tread under your shoes. So you'd have to either have a vacuum or maybe a personal spray of even isopropyl alcohol to kill them. But the alcohol will ruin the leather if you're wearing leather. That's a problem. But you may be able to wear, just pull up rubber boots. That would be enough. Right. Right. Right, but if it might be in the electric outlets, it could be in the bed, it could be in the frame, it could be in so many places. Sometimes a visual exam is kind of futile, because they might have been bitten when they were sleeping, but you'd actually start to go through and take apart all the furniture, take apart the bed, move a mattress. There's a lot of physical. I don't think you're really equipped to keep doing all that stuff either. So you might consider having a canine detection go in with you, or at a time when you may look at it at the same time. You may look at maybe things that have been collected from there, but sometimes you really can't find it just doing the visual. But you have to protect yourself. On some infestations, I've been where they're all over the floor. They're in layers of linoleum. You don't want to sit down on anything when you're in there either. And you don't want, if you walk against some of the furniture, they'll actually crawl right onto you if you just walk against some of the furniture. And they grip on quickly. Like I can throw them off of a little paintbrush, and all of a sudden they're on the paper and they just stop right away, right on that seemingly smooth paper. And they have no pads on their feet to grip, but they can actually grip. They have movies of them going up metal, which it looks like it's very smooth, but they sort of hold on, and if it's a curved metal, they have a better grip. They can go right up. They go up enamel, plastic, all kinds of different things. Except when they're mating, they're a little heavy. The female, when the male fell off, then she was able to go up.
So you think like a solution was not the best solution of the day, but like a spray bottle of alcohol?
Yeah, a lot of people will use alcohol, right on. If you use maybe a pure, entire one-piece boot, at least you don't have a problem of them all crawling up and hiding on so many seams and things like that. And then you'd be able to spray it right on the boot.
Why use a wasp?
Well, most of those repellents really don't work on bed bugs. Some of the tests showed people putting DEET on their arm, putting bed bugs on, and bed bugs start feeding right through it, when it would have repelled mosquitoes.
Is it the same assumption that it's listed as both a repellent and a killer and a pesticide, that it wouldn't work because it's not going to go to it, so you can't kill it?
There's something
There's some of the sprays now that say that it's a repellent and it kills something.
Yeah, well, if it's really much of a repellent, then they're really not going on it. A lot of the chemical preparations of a particular insecticide, if as a liquid, may work only as a direct hit kind of thing. But that same chemical as crystalline form or as a powder actually works very well. The powders work really well on bed bugs of all different types of powders, because being a powder, it sticks well to their bodies. And then the action of it can get into too. Or dehydrate, depending, which product it is.
What about pets?
Yes, they'll feed on, this one species doesn't really care as long as it's warm-blooded. So it feeds on dogs and cats and gerbils, guinea pigs, mice, chickens, birds. You don't really have to treat them. They're not really on the pest. They're getting on to feed, and all bed bugs climb away and go somewhere else to stay. So you don't have to really treat the animal, or you don't treat the person. You treat where the bed bugs harbor. That's important.
Since
Oh, go ahead.
Since you use yourself as part of your experiments, what do you do to prevent the bed bugs from following you to, for instance, seminars or
I
in
get
general?
them right. I bring them with me.
But is there anything you do? In other words, I
Oh, no,
guess you have your arm in the jar. You know,
no,
what do you
I
do
don't put
to?
the arm in the jar.
Okay.
See, the jars have a fine mesh on top, which is a third or a half a millimeter holes, so nothing goes through except the mouth parts.
Okay.
So when I open it inside a glass box that's 4 inches high, and I don't wear sleeves.
Okay.
So they're only, once they climb on, they almost always start feeding. If I wear gloves, sometimes they can crawl in the gloves, sometimes they fall off. But I don't have control over it, so I don't bother wearing gloves.
Right.
And then I just use fine paint brushes to maneuver them off and put them into other places.
Got it.
There's movies online.
Yeah.